Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some equestrian characters that's related to war because horses is one of our major companions during war in ancient times, in equestrian age. Okay, Zhen is today's character, and it involves of chariot and cliff. So when you see simplified, traditional, and 2,000 years ago's dictionary, things get more and more simplified over time. That when we want to see what originally it meant, we go far 2,000 years ago's rendering of how this zhen looks like. I translate it as a formation, but let's see if I can explain to make sense to you. The left side here, which simplified into this, in contemporary Chinese, we call it 耳刀旁, which is ear, knife, side, or radical. So it looks like an ear, which really blurred out what his origin is. It looks like very complicated back then. And as we can see, it's repeated 3 times structure. When Chinese repeat things 3 times, it's exponentially. It's not just three, it's like 1,000. It's 10 to the third, that three. So it's many, many, many of these stack up. So here, visually, Chinese is depicting a cliff. Okay, there is a framing of Chinese. We have this 2D dimension, this frame that we describe our world with, right? And then we use this top left corner here to mean high ground. And we use bottom left corner, always on the left side, as the low ground. And here you see the top left corner. By itself, it already means high ground. It's higher elevation in relative to your first person perspective. And then we put in the 3 almost like stack up boxes of things. And that is, I guess, Chinese visual for the surface, the terrain it depicts. It goes vertical, things stacked up. So there is a blocker, like on the natural terrain, there is this blocker that's beyond human climbable height. So it's, I guess, before mountaineering, the older gears and techniques for mountaineers scale up vertically. That for a regular human, that's a blocker, natural blocker. You cannot go beyond that. All right. On the right side is our chariot. It's a war, I guess, before tank. This is the tank equivalent of ancient warfare, which involves wheel, this circular thing with a spoke in it. That's wheel. I mean, wheel was invented for transportation. And then, of course, human apply it to war. Because war, a lot of it is transportation, right? Logistic. And then it's on the axle with 2, again, forget that, stoppers. I just call the stoppers to hold the wheel in the middle in place so the wheel doesn't fall off. And this structure is an abstraction of how this chariot will look like. It's I guess ancient times way to increase your momentum, right? Faster speed and also your weight, the volume, so that you can charge faster, heavier, for more forceful. So that's how humans, not only with our own body, but now with equipment of a chariot to be able to attack more forcefully. So this next to the cliff together, it means formation. That means before the war actually happened, you lay out your resources, your tanks, so to speak, next to the big. So this is terrains, right? The war battlefield, the terrains. And then this is your resources, your equipment, your heavy equipment, so to speak. It's not even your foot soldiers. It's the war vehicles on the ground. And so you place them strategically next to such terrains to get ready. And I guess in ancient times, techniques or strategies applied for such resource and landscape that a whole set of, I guess, theories to best position yourself so that you can offend and defend at the same time, as we talked about yesterday. Okay, that's the formation. That's why it involves both the natural terrain and also this human invention made into a war vehicle. 阵而后战. So you notice 阵 and 战, they look, they sound almost the same, only swap out the vowel there. Even the tone is the same. 阵, okay. 战, okay. All these are fallen tones. And I guess of all the four tones in Chinese, the fallen tone has the most force because it's from higher pitch to lower pitch. It gives you this audio, fallen, almost like a water falling from high to low. It gives you this force. It's coming impact. Okay, so that's my reading. 阵而后战 means you have to position yourself, the resources on the ground, and then get ready to fight. That's how you, before fighting, before even engage in a fight, you position your resources so that you have the best positioning. So it's a pre-positioning, I guess, to fight. 严阵以待. You have this tight formation. 严阵 means probably in between such war vehicles, and you form it, distance it, pace it, space it, so that they are tight enough for the enemies, hard for the enemies to break in. So you form a tight formation. 以待 means the purpose, in order to wait for the big moment of war, for the incoming impact from the enemy side. So for you to endure the impact is to tighten your formation. Okay, 冲锋陷阵 is the opposite of that. So your enemy tried to build a tight formation so that it's harder to break into. Now, 冲锋陷阵 talks about this heroic behavior of a group of supposedly cavalry, people on horses, who also came with a certain mass and momentum to charge forward toward the enemy. And they serve as an edge, almost the edge of a knife, to cut into the formation and to break it, the formation. So 陷 means a sunk, the formation. So we use a 陷阵 to mean otherwise a fully defended, tightly knitted formation placed with this war vehicles and in between the foot soldiers, right? Then use the cavalry to charge, serve as the knife, as the edge to cut into such tight formation. So that's 冲锋陷阵. All right, so we're talking about formation, and of course, ancient warfare we have no chance to see, and all these are contemporary people's imagination and rendering how ancient times the war will look like. Of course, it involves horses and armored, heavily armored men on horses, and in this particular army, I guess they use a sword. They also use archery. So near distance, long distance, they're equipped both ways. And supposedly behind them is this big zhen, this big formation with like a bigger army behind them. But these are the generals, the leaders of the army that stand in front of the zhen. So that's how Chinese visualize and conceptualize what formation, what this war positioning would look like. Thank you for your time. See you another day.